to the signing event of the Memorandum of Understanding between Cisco and the Free and Hanseatic City of Hamburg. I would like to give you a couple of hints as to how we shall proceed. First of all, the mayor of Hamburg will speak. Afterwards, Senator Heuch will speak. And after that, the first pilot projects, you will be informed about the first pilot projects by Jens Meyer, Markus Wissmann, and John Beckermans. And then we will proceed on to the signing. You will have a little time to come up front with your cameras to take photos of that. And that Elfring Cisco will give you thoughts from the part of Cisco on the issue of smart city. Now the mayor has the word. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start the model Hamburg. We've been dealing with this for a long time. How can we manage to produce modern living conditions and use the technical innovations and for citizens of our city and for the companies who are active here? If we look back, we notice that a number of changes have occurred, especially the way in which we communicate with each other. Our lives have changed significantly, things that aren't that long ago, actually. However, we do know that the first steps of digitalization have used capacities that we cannot imagine even anymore. The Apollo 11 astronauts has a capacity like our smartphones today. And I can't even remember when I was a youth, and I can see how fast the time proceeds. The capacities of modern systems has increased tremendously. We noticed this at the Hanover Trade Fair, Industry 4.0. How can we use the benefits of digitalization in development and systems and machinery that has a big tradition in Germany? How can we interconnect those industrial systems and activities? And by using this digital strategy, how can we interconnect that and use it for our economy and our living together? And our third aspect is the question, what are the consequences of the digital revolution for our infrastructure? How we exchange with each other. The exchange between people, the exchange of services, of merchandise. How can we organize this? These are fields which will make the greatest leaps to the future. And this is what is the how can we promote this progress? The smart city is the first and foremost question. The smart is very prominent, and everybody wants to be smart. Smart city is smart whatever. Therefore, it is important that we don't just want to deal with fashionable questions and a question of presentation, but how can technical changes come into play? Cities are growing, we know that. A large part of the citizens and people of on the earth live in cities, and this will continue. By the middle of the century, we can expect 9.5 billion. 70% of the citizens, people on the world, will live in cities. So the question, how can we organize living together and the growth in condensed spaces, is of utmost importance for quality of life. We all know prosperity and growth in the future. But if we have more housing, more exchange, more interconnectedness with international trade, this also means more traffic, unless we manage this with first-class innovations to and to achieve better quality of life and better environmental conditions. This is precisely the issue. How can we improve this quality of life and quality of environment in the cities? How can this be successful to have less carbon, use less resources, and at the same time uh, uh, promote growth that we hope for? So the cities that have a great economic development and have made great advances in development in the last centuries, you can even say, with respect to Hamburg, in the last 100 or 200 years. It's very important, not because they want to tell other people how to live, but because they have the intellectual and scientific potential and innovation potential to develop the concepts and to make them marketable and to generalize them, to be able to use them all over the world. If we look at the resources being used in Western cities, if we calculate this to the future, others may not have what we do. I'm totally convinced that this will not work. It's also wrong. The real question is how can can we use our intellectual engagement with technology, develop such technologies in connection with digitalization to come up with concepts that the 70% of 9.5 billion people will be able to lead good lives? Is there something that they can fall back on? For the cities to do it, it's an immediate progress for themselves, and to come up with business models, and to launch economic processes, and to promote export and growth. For the many companies worldwide interested in smart cities, it's a chance to produce products that are actually needed. And once they're developed and once they're improved lives, they can contribute to improvement of life in other parts of the world, and also to improve economic opportunity all over. We're happy that many companies in the cities, and I want to say this as a mayor, that are involved in the smart city question. There are many companies, German and American, we negotiate about the smart city and developed concepts that are current today. And Cisco joins this engagement with the conscious decision to put this forward, this along with Hamburg. This is great progress. But the issue that Cisco is engaged in, smart and connected communities, this is what we understand by the smart city. That's the decisive question that we'll have in the future. We'll hear some examples, and I will step back for a moment and not tell you what you will hear, what you're about to hear, and leave it up to the speakers that are coming up. But, for example, the smart port is an important issue in a city with a large port such as Hamburg. Maybe I can just give you an example. When I had the chance to visit Brazil and was in Sao Paulo, near Sao Paulo, I looked at the largest port of Brazil, and I noticed that the entire container transfer is lower of the entire country is less than that which is being done in Hamburg. That's a fantastic message regarding the chances that Brazil has. It's also important because to see what is still possible. And also is clear information of the tremendous logistic challenge that the Hamburg port and the traffic and logistics systems does have to provide. And if you and this looking at this comparison, this is not quite an easy task, and we don't know if this is innovative enough, but in technological innovations, we invest in that. That's one of our solutions. Traffic, port, questions, intermodality is an important issue. We need to use different avenues, such as public transport has to be, the interfaces and connections have to be well done. Technical conditions have to be present. The same information level that that somebody from his boards his car in front of his house, and that he can experience everything in a comfortable fashion, knowing what to do next. You make another 3 steps, then you take a right, and then you board the bus, and then you reach the office without even knowing where the office was. There's a tremendous potential, and we want to research this with a number of companies. Cisco is another partner, and we're happy to have them on board. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, and your media representatives, smart means customer-oriented, user-oriented, target-oriented. That's how I define it for myself, and that's why I want to just briefly present some presentations on these issues from different perspectives, and particularly from our partner Cisco, whom I give my thanks to. Hamburg is one of the economically strongest metropolises in Europe. Technical innovation and interconnectedness of economy and science that we have in many aspects of life, as well as the joining ecology and economy with one of the largest ports in the midst of the city is the center of our future development of the city. The population of Hamburg is growing, like in most metropolises. So there's a social responsibility for the growing big cities. This smart city, the interconnected and smart city, improves life quality of living by intelligent and innovative infrastructures that are supposed to help make mobility more efficient, to save resources, and to reduce carbon. Sensors and information technology will play a decisive role. In 2050, 6.3 billion people will live in big cities worldwide. These are only the metropolises. That's why we have to ask ourselves how to deal with that and how to use these chances and also manage the challenges. And it's never too early to start with that. We need to find answers have answers to open energy consumption, carbon imprint, quality of life, and we have to find answers to all of these questions, and this process is ongoing. The politics is very involved to create the conditions, enabling conditions. Hamburg Port Authority has the goal in the next years to develop the port into a smart port. With respect to the World Harbor Conference in 2015, SMART represents intelligent exchange of information to improve quality and efficiency of delivery merchandise chain, is the nerve of the port operations. And potential disturbances and can be detected early on. Harbor. Another example is the the Hafen City, the new and creative city district will become part of this process. In Hamburg, we want to keep the quality of life at a high level. I want to attract new citizens to come to Hamburg and to convince people from the quality of life in our city, and also inspire others of the smart city idea. And for me, as a senator of economy and science, we're only at the beginning of intelligent management systems. I'm convinced that we can achieve many improvements in the traffic guidance systems. In my imagination, in traffic, users will automatically be rerouted if they have to drive around an accident or a bursted pipe, or if a truck has been stalled. Parking space will be virtually managed and search will be avoided. Route, route suggestions will be transmitted to smartphones for users to read. Now there's some more ideas and possibilities that can be used from technology, and innovation can be developed. This is what the mayor said, is that this is an open process for us. In this discrimination-free city and all actions that we pursue, this is not a closed shop between Cisco and Hamburg. The topic is much too complex for this. The MOU today is beginning to launch the targets just sketched. Networks are not only have something to do with computers and a virtual world. Networks are also made by people, and this is what I want to stress. This is part of our politics and our cooperations with many representatives of the city. We exchange information digitally, but also personally, and this is what we want to continue to do in the future. Thanks for your attention. Now I want to present to you the first example. This is called the project name Smart Parking. Please allow me to the comment. The harbor is located in the midst of the city. The city is growing, the harbor is growing, and we're happy about that. There is a slogan that we use internally. If we want to grow sustainably, we have to overcome frontiers, limits. There has been a slogan that was called doubling capacity without doubling space. This is quite fitting, both in IT as well as in the harbor. With the same space, with the same infrastructure, without having new buildings, we want to do the output, increase the output of the harbor. And in this context, the HPA is organizing its thinking. And intelligent lighting management is part of that. Traffic management guidance system is involved. But emission data is another issue, and we would like to find management control systems for that as well. Now, I want to present to you a concrete project, the smart parking. We had started the first pilot project, which is a parking area. You can see in this picture, see the trucks are parked. Another project at in Morfleet, and another parking space at the Dessauer Street. 3 parking spaces that will be equipped with detection devices to use them more efficiently. So I'll show you another. The idea behind it is by detection how many places are actually occupied. With an intelligent approach you can book a parking space via smartphone, and through the exchange of information with specific data that can be accessed via terminals to enable trucks to park bumper to bumper right next to each other. So if you know the first one leaves at 6 and the next one at 6:02, parking is more efficient. So that we have 30% more parking space on existing parking space without having to build additional parking facilities. And today we're very casual about this. We would just give a message to a colleague, can you block a space for me? And after all, everybody is trying to wait to find a more intelligent traffic control system and to establish connectivity. We do not only have truck drivers from Hamburg, but also from Europe, and these, not surprisingly, use telephone, Skype, etc. And they like wireless LAN and other further connectivity features. So apart from so the well-being and acceptance of our service providers in the Hamburg harbor is that way is achieved. My name is Markus Wissmann, and I'm responsible for the topic of smart cities, and I present to you Smart Cities project. This is not video surveillance, but video communication. We developed a solution which we called Citizen Kiosk. It's a video box. The video box can enter and connect with authorities via video. How do this idea come about? Together with a community of Guldbuksund in Denmark, we looked at a challenge where the community had the problem to form one service center out of 6. Budget deficits were the reason for that. And the mayor at the time said we need to reduce costs, have only one town hall for 6 communities, and so he could not. He didn't feel good about leaving citizens behind, because they would have to do some 60 kilometers to reach an office, authorities. So we strive for a solution to come up with to keep these service centers alive, but equip them with video, so that the citizens can still access the authorities and be in contact with public officials, and thus use all kinds of services. We did this together with 4 years ago with excellent results. The solution is we installed a printer, a scanner, a passport reader, so IDs can be read. This led to this success that people were happy because the offices were not closed, but they're still in operation. And many older people were very open to this technology. There were no problems. So the mayor was very happy and able to maintain these citizens' offices, although there were budget deficits, with longer opening times and the same service offering, and less resources at the same time. What did we do? Make of this? We took a closer look at this concept and came up with this. Looks like a space shuttle of the NASA, but actually in this box everything is present. It's a complete end-to-end solution, offering all kinds of devices to complete an entire operation. A citizen can enter this box, be automatically connected to a public official, communicate via HD, and documents can be shared. Browsing can take place, co-browsing, other identification devices. So the job can be handled entirely with one visit at the box. And this is the same kind of approach we'd like to use in Hamburg. This is the public official. For example, he could sit in a call center, 115 for Hamburg, for example. The official is able to communicate beautifully via a video screen. Consulting can be completed when the citizen leaves the box, closes, and the next citizen can be dealt with. What about Hamburg in more detail? In cooperation with the EC, we enable us to put up a box in the shopping center in Alstertal. And the company of Abodak took care of the installation. There's a direct connection with the public office of Wandsbek, providing all connectivity and the service has been taken care of, which is offering vouchers for kindergarten spaces. Service for families who normally would pick up these vouchers at offices, and now this service is now decentralized, while the expert knowledge is centralized. This is stage 1. Stage 2 is, if this has been successful, we see the first results. That can be done with all kinds of different services that couldn't be remotely accessed. This is a reference from Nice, France. We installed the box as well. 44 persons can access this box, connecting with the government of Nice. Now, public tender has been started to create a rollout of another 10 boxes in Nice. We hope this will be a success in Hamburg as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I will speak in English. Okay. I will speak slowly to make sure that I understand and everybody understands me. So my name is John Bakelmans. I am from Cisco. I will talk a little bit about one of the first projects in the harbor, next to the smart parking project, which Mr. Meyer has highlighted. I'll talk about the project we have an internal name for. We call it Smart Infrastructure for Ports. But if we look at it, and if we look what really excites today, what is the tension between the port and the city, it's of course the road and all the traffic which needs to go either in and out of the port, or of course is the connectivity between the city and between the port. So when we looked at it, what was really the most important first part of that journey we're going together with the city of Hamburg, with the Hamburg Port Authority, we thought that creating a kind of a smart road is really the first piece of that puzzle we want to solve together. And what we looked at is we've asked, of course, the Hamburg Port Authority, because the major project is handling about a major road inside of the port. We asked them, what is the major issues you're facing today on that road? And of course, one of the major issues is everything around traffic jams, traffic flow, and safety and security on that road. How can we improve that? How can we ensure that also by providing a smarter road, we also understand everything around environmental data, generated by the traffic using that particular part of the port. So we want to understand environmental data. We also want to understand, of course, how good the road is behaving, how good the infrastructure on the road is behaving. You will see that there is a big bridge on that road. We want to also sense the quality of that bridge because, you know, sometimes it happens that bridges or other things age in time, and you want to make sure that you keep an eye on those things. So we want to take an end-to-end approach in actually looking at a road, making it a little bit more smarter as a first step to make the port in general smarter as well. So, of course, we cannot do that together. We want to basically make sure we always do that in combination with partners we trust, we believe in, and we think we can also, you know, grow with in that particular journey. And you see, there is the part of the traffic. Cisco is doing together with one of our partners, strategic partners called AGT International. We're also going to provide some smart lighting infrastructure where we believe Philips has one of the key technologies and as one of the key partners here for the port to make that happen. We want to, of course, also look at that smart environmental data, pollution data. We also want to do with that the load sensing. We actually want to work together with a company called World Sensing out of Spain. And last but not least, we need somebody who can tie it all together. We need somebody who can make the installation, the deployment, the maintenance to make sure it keeps on running. And that's T-Systems, which we believe has already a good establishment here in Hamburg, but where we are very proud of to partner with. And of course, last but not least, the customer here, the one who tells us what to do, the one who keeps us honest, is the Hamburg Port Authority. Those are the people who helped us define actually the use case and who help us keep being on track for the next year while we're going to actually do this work. The map of the area is the blue road you will see. Some of you who are local will actually recognize that particular road. The Katwijk Brugge is there in the middle. It's the bridge which today still goes horizontally up and down. That will change, I hear. But so it's an interesting part of actually combining roads, combining bridges, combining traffic flows, combining safety, understanding pollution around this entire environment. It's a very good way to have a 4-kilometer stretch of road and actually understanding a lot more about it. So if you look at it, what we're going to do is we're going to look at that road and we're going to do a number of things. We're going to do a number of things, first of all, on the infrastructure side. We need to be able to communicate and to connect these unconnected things together through technologies we call fiber and Wi-Fi. On top of that fiber infrastructure, that Wi-Fi infrastructure, we're going to connect a number of sensors which we actually need to be able to understand things like pollution data, understand things like traffic flows. And then, of course, come the applications. That's the red layer, where, of course, the people in the traffic center in the port will be able to understand what is actually happening in that road. They will be a lot faster, proactively getting an understanding of the amount of traffic, the amount of traffic diversions they need to put in place, and so on. So if you look at it, 3 different use cases we want to put together. First and foremost, traffic sensing and incident management. So we need to understand a lot better what is actually going on in real time on that road. Whether it's on the road heading to the bridge, whether it's on the road behind the bridge, whether it's on the bridge. We want to do that through a number of sensors. We want to do that through a number of flow sensors in the street and some cameras sometimes you need, because if there is an incident, you want to know exactly which type of service I need to send there, which type of people I need to handle that particular incident, like the mayor explained in his opening words. We really want to be a lot smarter about traffic and incident management. And then we need to look at smart lighting. Lighting has gone through an enormous evolution over the last 5 to 10 years. It's not only a lot cheaper to do it with LEDs, but if you also then make it smarter by, for example, not turning on light when there's nobody using the road, and only turning on the light in front of the car coming on the road and turning it off behind that car, you can start to save a lot more energy. We believe we can save up to 70% of energy from traditional lighting today up to smart street lighting tomorrow. And our partner Philips is going to lead that part of the project. And then, of course, how does the traffic relate to environmental data? How does the traffic relate to pollution in the port? The Port Authority is looking for real-time answers on how much pollution is that particular traffic causing, how much pollution is that ship causing, which is coming through and through the bridge. So we want to use a number of sensor environments to be able to really understand what is really going on that stretch of road, to really get almost like a heat map of environmental data inside of the port. And it will look something like this. The people in the traffic center will have a dashboard. The dashboard will be used in real time. The dashboard will notify the operator when something is going on. They will not have to look at the sensor data and the cameras. It will be proactively be done by them. It will be through a number of software applications actually running in that operations center. So you can imagine that they can also, of course, look if they want to look at those cameras in case of an incident, because we want to make sure that everything around that is handled properly. But of course it's important that when you want to be real time or near real time or proactive about certain things, you need to have that visibility. And then last but not least, of course, you can see that once you start monitoring the data from an environmental perspective, you can also start looking at heat maps around pollution and around, actually footprints in the harbor, where you can get a lot more clarity around what is really going on from an environmental point of view. That's what I want to tell you about the Smart Infrastructure for Ports project. I'll leave it up to the next speaker now. Thank you.
Ich würde jetzt die Kameras ein Stück nach vorne bitten, wenn wir das MOU unterschreiben. So, ich hoffe, alles ist gut. Und dann hören wir jetzt noch den Vortrag von Wim Elfring. Bitte sehr.
Guten Nachmittag, Herr Erster Bürgermeister, Herr Senator Jens, Sebastian, and my colleagues from Cisco, of course, Marcus and John. Thanks for all the nice, warm words. It's good to be back in Hamburg. I'm going to English, sorry. My mother language is Dutch, and I'm going to mix it all up if I'm not careful. So that I understand German very well, and probably in a couple of years, after having been back here a lot, I will pick it up again. So first, thanks for the trust. Thanks for the partnership. We will talk a lot about technology, but in the end, it's about relationships. It's about people with a vision, and about people who dare to take the future and embrace it. Senator Horst said it very well last night. that there is a revolution coming, a digital revolution. It's like a tsunami. If you want to stop it, it goes over you. It's better to jump on it on a surfboard and start riding it and see it as an opportunity. And that with healthy skepticism and really think it through what it can mean and what it can do for the citizens. And I'm absolutely sure that in that partnership between the municipality of Hamburg, Cisco and our ecosystem, we will have a lot of debates, what we will do and how we will do it. And I really want to show you what the tsunami is, what is coming, what is the digital revolution. And so you have seen some very simple examples of smart parking, connected roads, and if you see what is coming to us as the tsunami, we call it the Internet of Things. Everything is going to be connected. At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, only 1% of what can be connected is connected. We have 99% to go. And then, at this moment, around 7 billion devices are connected. And we think that in the next decade, around 50 billion devices will be connected. In the hour that we are here together, 100,000 devices will be connected, 30 million at the moment a week. And so that will give opportunities and it will create new ways of working. We saw smart parking, but it can be smart lighting, it can be citizen services, urban services. It will unleash a lot of potential. And perhaps the best way of thinking about it is see it as a new infrastructure. And that when we got electricity 100 years ago, that was for a lot of people frightening. What can you do with it? Nowadays you don't think about it. You just plug in an appliance and you use it. The same with water, the same with gas. And so think about that Internet of Things and everything being connected as a new essential infrastructure. It's what you're going to do with it. And what you're going to do with it is applications. Use it. Use it to your benefit. So we call it an application-centric infrastructure. And now we go to the next thing, and that altogether we call it the Internet of Everything. Because it's going to be the things that are going to be connected, the people that are going to be connected, the data it will generate, and then an opportunity to re-engineer your processes. And because automation so far, we have been automating what we are doing. If we now start anticipating what is possible and think about all that data that is going to be generated, over the last 2 years, new data has been generated that's the same as 5,000 years of history. It will double every 2 years. Next to that, if you take a company like Walmart, they gather customer data, and that is at the moment at a rate of 2.5 petabytes an hour. Petabytes doesn't excite you, I think. 1 petabyte, to give it as an example, Mr. Mayor, 1 petabyte is 2,000 years of music, streaming it. So think about it. If you think about what the amount of data that Herr Sebastian Sachs will gather in his center, where everything is connected and where it all comes together, it will be more. It will probably be 2 petabytes an hour. So we will gather a lot of data. That's the point I tried to make. But the question is, what are we going to do with all that data? Because data in itself is useless. Data has to be transformed in information. Information has to become knowledge. And then with knowledge, you can have what-if scenarios. What if this? What if that? So in those centers, you can take a lot of informed decisions. You can anticipate what is coming to you. And next to that, you can then open that data and give it to your citizens. And I'm sure that, again, Herr Sachs, I'm not picking on you here, but you demonstrated yesterday on an app what smart parking can do. And did you know that an average citizen in Paris spends 4 years of his life finding a parking place? Think about the congestion. Think about the pollution it creates. So if you get simple applications, and that's really the revolution we go through now, and that since we have smartphones and since we have tablets, it's only 5 years. Everything what we gather as data will become available as an application on your smartphone. And so ride the wave. Embrace the technology as your friend and see what you can do with it and how it can improve lives, how it can improve economies, and how it will also stimulate inclusive growth, inclusive democracy. Your citizens can participate in informed decisions. You can poll them, they can tell you what they think, they can give instant feedback. So if you count it and if you get it all up on a worldwide basis, we predict with big studies in the university world that there is an opportunity of 19 trillion, what we call an economic value. It's productivity improvement, it are new services, it's better asset management. 19 trillion is up for grab. Imagine how we can improve lives, how we can share more. We still have 1 billion people on the planet who have no access to water or electricity, who live off $1 a day. And so it will enable also inclusive growth, and it will give an opportunity to the unprivileged. If you think about Germany, Germany has an opportunity of 914 billion in the public sector, private sector together. And these are, like John Bakelmans called it, use cases. It's built on real data. So we're very much looking forward as the Burgermeister to see what it will be for Hamburg and what the opportunity is. Because don't be afraid of technology. It enables applications and it can create better life. It's only 100 years ago that in the United States, every 1 out of 3 citizens was working in agriculture. Today it's only 2%. And we have much more food. And we have created a lot of wealth. And we have created a lot of opportunities. So if you think about that, we look at a city like this. My father was an architect. And by the way, I'm from Rotterdam. I hope that doesn't abuse you as a competition. But so, being from Rotterdam, I can remember as a small child sitting with my father on the kitchen table. And I now see the library in Rotterdam. I see some schools. And so, but my father was a physical architect. That he just thought in brick and mortar. We see ourselves with our partners as digital architects. And it's now, how are we going to work together? And that's how will a digital infrastructure be an overlay on a physical infrastructure? Or even better, how can you anticipate it and do it together at the same time? And Hamburg is a great example. The new haven city that's being built, the subway is already there. And the buildings have to come. That they anticipate what is needed. So that's for us really an opportunity to work together and to start thinking together on what the opportunities are. And then everything is smart and connected. But I've learned this from Jens. This is going to be my new picture. And we will call it a Citropolis. Because it's now going to be also the harbor that's going to play a very important element in this infrastructure. So the benefits, and Herr Burgermeister, that must be a good point for you also, that it will create jobs in apps alone. And that Hamburg is the city where my taxi was invented. 10 million users in a moment. And it's going to conquer Germany, and it's now going to conquer Europe and the world. And so that there is already a culture here in Hamburg of innovation and picking up the opportunities. And that apps alone have created almost 400,000 jobs over the last year. So job creation, foreign investment money that will come, we can find it out. But then energy management, 30% reduction is easy. It's easy to do that. Also water consumption. We already have cities around the world who plan for water neutrality and just recycle what they use. If people are more happy, crime rates go down, traffic. But then also, and Herr Burgermeister, you talked about Brazil and Sao Paulo, and there are a lot of slums. Technology can also enable education and healthcare at much lower rates coming out of the cloud. So also for the underprivileged people, the sustainability, both economically, socially, and environmentally, are going to be huge. So in closing, technology is a key enabler. It's not a threat, it's an opportunity to embrace. What it needs, and we can together create a new industry. And we are really looking forward to team up here in Hamburg with an Hanseatic city. And the future of competition is going to be between cities again. It was the history, it's going to be the futures. And countries will enable that. And so we are convinced, working with Hamburg, that we have that visionary leadership, that we have that thought leadership. Embrace it, make the best out of it, stay skeptical. As an industry, and we have industry partners here like AGT, and we have Philips, we have T-Systems, and we have already a big ecosystem. It's our job to work on global open standards and to make it accessible for everybody. It will need a lot of smart regulation, new policies, and because we have to address things like security, we have to address privacy. Who owns the data? Because we're going from an industrial era to a data era. And we have to find out, and that's another thing we have to all work on together, what are the new smart policies. We will work a lot on smart and, of course, public-partner partnerships, or public-private participations. And citizens will be involved, because citizens have a great tool to give feedback and to participate. Last but not least, the most important part is the ecosystem. That global companies, local companies, German companies, Hamburg companies, how are we going to embrace these concepts and work all together? In Cisco we always say that Herr Bürgermeister, we partner for life. And I'm really looking forward to be partners in this great opportunity and to enrich life of people. Thank you very much.
Vielen Dank, liebe Kollegen von der Presse. Es gäbe zwei Möglichkeiten. Einmal natürlich die Möglichkeit, direkt Fragen zu stellen oder aber auch O-Töne zu vereinbaren. Dann frage ich als erstes, gibt es Fragen dazu?
Investments do cost money, obviously. Well, a little cost. If we order it, we may find something advantageous and good. We'll order it somewhere else. We want it to be an open cooperation. We discuss Smart City with IBM, with Siemens, with Philips, and all the others, Microsoft, NXP, who are located in Hamburg. That's why no one who helps concept with us cannot demand that this is going to be a lifelong decision. It is to push the frontier further, go west actually, finding a way to use the new opportunities, but also the new problems. Trying to do those things, as Mr. Meyer explained, these are already in progress. It'll show whether or not it will work. We'll find out if one possibility in the Ulster shopping center, it will show that nobody comes, or it's bad or good. We'll have to find out how it actually proves in practice. Thousands of questions come up that you get to know when you start asking. We have so many many more regulations than our European neighbors that will enable some things but make other things impossible. So it has to be developed together. So now we'll go ahead with it, and if concepts evolve from that, we will finance them, but some things may evolve that we do not favor, but we'll have to find out. The question of investment with smart parking, maybe Mr. Meyer can put forth an idea. to give an idea for two things. Logistics streams. The first thing was to interconnect existing systems with smartphones. These are investment sums on the 5-digit scale. It's very beneficial and at a relatively low cost because the resources are there already. If you look at the smart parking project, we have filed an application at the EC to build a further parking space for 1.1 million euros. Just to give you an idea, there's technological linking software, all this is included. And this would be subsidized about 50% by the EU. So just to give you an idea, if I may add, the question is justified. To make precise statements with respect to time and processes, we cannot do this. But that's not the background of a memorandum of understanding. We have potential and brought this together from both sides, from not only Cisco but also other partners. And we've done projects with several partners and we come up with potential, and other things are being tested. The World Port Conference has been mentioned. We have a budget for that as well to go through with that. And as a result of those potentials, we'll come up with specific project plans and will be financed, and there will be a timing for that as well. Any other questions? Mr. Lehmann? The concrete time frame with the World Port Conference that we're working toward for months for the year 2015. We continue the development of the world road management regarding parking facilities and the use of data from regarding ships on the Alp traffic management and on the part of the port. From that side, several projects are ongoing regarding the port. Regarding other parts of the city, we cannot say at the moment. The World Port Conference in June 2015 that Senator Horch mentioned, smart roads, we want to have done as a pilot so we can present the showcases. The MOU is designed for 4 years, but an important milestone is the World Port Conference to make a stop and have a look what can we achieve with what kind of resources to make the harbor the port more efficient. We try to present presentable results by the World Port Conference. And that's why we reduced our efforts to the Katwijk Dam, how to save energy and reduce emissions, etc., and see how to use these effects for further innovation. Most importantly, these are our data. We are the guardians of data. It depends on the respective technology. It is a central issue. No one may use unauthorized use of the data. And we have to critically review this, and data officials have to have direct access to these data exchange processes. I'm very grateful for your question. Such developments, if we see those, whether we want to be directing these data protection developments, can we implement any democratic principles with that and make these our rules? Or if we've started too late with this, we have to be part of an advanced platform that has already been developed, and then the data protection issue no longer is within our reach. Just to say Google, Facebook, etc. If we look at those, before projects have started and evolved into as far as Facebook and Google have. And what I said at the beginning, we are in a process of where specific things are happening in the world, and we are, with the economic clout that Hamburg has, technologic know-how and economic opportunities, we are an important place to deploy such things. They will become economical in our city. The standards that are important for our question is the chance is great that the imitation that these standards play a role elsewhere, and we want to make a small contribution how things will be handled elsewhere in the world. That's a big responsibility. So we have to be in this process from early on. The question, massive open online courses, should we do something in that regard, or partial applications of that? We would almost be too late. Are we still? Is there anything we can do with this? Are we at the beginning of this? Can we develop own platforms that we developed and design that they meet our expectations and ideas, or should we wait until it's no longer possible to come up with standards that we would like to formulate? That has to be a certain data protection has to be a central and crucial issue. Are there any more questions? I don't see that. One more comment. The press releases and the presentations may be viewed at hamburg.de/smart-city, and you can use the cities, the pictures from that internet release. Thank you.